This video is going to be painful for the Toyota cultists. I'll include a link to the Southtown Nissan's website in the description down below, and then the Carl Malone Toyota's website in the description down below. They're providing us with both of these trucks. Let's get right into the comparison. Under the hood of the Nissan is a 3.8 liter V6, naturally aspirated. It goes through a 9-speed. Fuel economy stated to be 16 around town, 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 281 pound-feet of torque. The Toyota has a hybrid 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 22 around town, 24 on the highway, as stated with the sticker. 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. Nice and smooth. Stupid. Why do we have a hood prop on a $50,000 truck? If you don't want to be a stupid hood prop on a $50,000 truck, make sure you subscribe. When it comes to styling, the Frontier Pro 4X is quite beautiful. You've got the nostrils, which some of you might like, some of you might not like. And then look at the recovery points. We also have really cool fog lights, very boxy with the overall housing. Now the new Tacoma's no slouch. You got to remove the air dam for it to look pretty. The air dam definitely runs the overall style, but you've got fog lights, you've got a very angular design for the headlights. So I think both of them look good in their own right. So the Frontier 265 by 70 by 17, kind of like a not super aggressive all-terrain tire. Might be one of the things you want to change out, but really cool wheel design, that's for sure. With the Tacoma, it's 265 by 70 by 18, so you actually have larger tires over here with the Tacoma. And the TRD off-road has pretty cool looking wheels. The Tacoma is also just kind of wider in general with a fender and fender flare setup. The Frontier is more of a narrow body appearance. And if you look at them, the Tacoma actually sits a little bit higher than the Frontier with the overall height. Bilstein shocks in the Tacoma. It's coil sprung in the rear, solid rear axle, independent front suspension. The Frontier also has Bilstein shocks, but it's leaf sprung, so that's the big difference between this and the Tacoma. And then here's your side profile with the Tacoma. I love the sharp lines that go across the body. Again, they did a good job with the new style, I think. And then taking a look at the Frontier, again, it does sit a little bit lower, but style, it's good. Let's see how this goes. Yep, that slow lowers. Let's hope this one does too, because I ain't catching it. Oh, that's good. We've got an outlet in the bed of the Tacoma, LED lights. It's got a composite bed, so you do have to get liner if you want your bed to not be super slippery. And then the tailgate, unless you're a vegan, it's light. I guess the Frontier comes with free foliage. We've got an outlet here in the back. You've got the cargo tie-down sliders, which is really cool. Bed liner already. And this one, it might be heavy even if you're a vegetarian. Now with the back on the Tacoma, everything's pretty good looking until you see the exhaust tip hanging down pretty low. But this one does have the ARB tow hooks, which is a cool addition. Now the Frontier doesn't get off scot-free. Again, the back end I think looks a little bit better than the Tacoma's, but it does have the exhaust tip hanging down, not nearly as low, but it does kind of pop down a bit. Both of these are supposed to be in the 6-ish thousand pound range for the towing capacity. The Pro 4X lowers the towing apparently, and then the hybrid also lowers the towing. Kind of weird. Space in the Tacoma. Well, you better get cozy with the driver because you're kind of, being awkwardly close with their seat. Cup holders, we've got an outlet here in the back, some USB ports as well. And yes, this comparison has a Tacoma with cloth seats. The Tacoma has a higher MSRP as well. Headroom in the back, not too bad. Yeah, the Nissan, I don't know, it seems to have a bit more space. I'm not so cozy with the front seat there, but the front seat has moved forward just a titch. Anyways, USB ports, we got an outlet and then manual window, and headroom's pretty good. The sunroof hump does kind of mess up things a little. Blind spot monitoring with the Tacoma, and you can see kind of a nice finish with the window controls there. You do have some soft touch here. Payload's going to be 1,200 pounds. We've got cloth trim here with the seats, again manual with the adjustments. The Frontier's blind spot monitoring, acoustic glass up front. You can see automatic window controls, kind of a fancy finish there. We have less payload, I think, yep, 1,040 pounds. But the seats in the Frontier, power adjustable and much nicer with the trim. And let's fire the Tacoma up. Oh man, that 4-cylinder sounds so beefy. Actually kind of does a little bit. Anyways, digital gauge cluster. We also have a nice steering wheel here. It has adaptive cruise control with lane centering. You've got volume and voice command controls. Giant backup camera, but yeah, just a backup camera. No 360 or anything like that. The infotainment system is quick to respond. I've lived with this system in 2 different cars. I actually really like it. It's a good unit. And then below that, we've got our climate controls. This does have heated seats too. We got some USB ports and everything there. Got the TRD shifter with this. Part-time four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case. You got your drive mode, multi-terrain select, crawl control, tow haul, rear diff lock, some cup holders, center console. I like the trim on the top here. And yeah, there's nothing up top. I almost forgot, I do appreciate the storage above the glove box in the Tacoma. It's nice. Okay, let's fire up this Frontier. Yeah, that sounds like a real engine. I like the analog gauges. You still have a digital element there in the center, but that's nice. And then look at the steering wheel in this thing. Very stylized with the orange. I know some people aren't a huge fan. They want it all blacked out. I like it. Now that nav screen looks like it's from 1995, but I don't mind as long as it... I mean, if it gets the job done, and these also come with Apple CarPlay, if I remember right, so it's like, whatever. Yeah, there you go, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But yeah, this screen, I would say that it's easy enough to use. It's just not quite as intuitive as Toyota's unit, so there's that. We do have some physical controls for the climate, dual zone climate, part-time four-wheel drive system just like the Tacoma. It does have auto stop start. I mean, the Tacoma has a hybrid, so it's going to turn off the engine obviously, but yeah, this has no hybrid, but still auto stop start. Heated seats and heated steering wheel, which is a good feature to have. Shifter for the 9-speed automatic. This has kind of like Nissan's version of multi-terrain select now. Phone charging pad, got the center console. Nice trim here on the top, and then this also has a center. No above the glove box storage though. Now get this, that Frontier stickers for $49,000, the Tacoma is $51,000. Really? Let's see which one drives the best. Then we'll drive the Tacoma second. Now the hydraulic steering, that's the first thing that many of you will notice when you set up in the Frontier. The steering is a little bit heavier. Just like the tailgate is a little bit heavier. But again, it separates the men from the boys. You know what I mean? If you can't handle the Frontier steering and tailgate, well, give me your man card. Come on. We gotta start doing that. We gotta start bringing shame back into society. Like guys that are just complete wimps. We gotta be like, hey, sorry, you're a boy now. You've lost your man privileges. I guess we call these people man, you know, man-child and stuff. But anyways, this thing drives well, despite the steering being a little bit heavier. I don't care. It's direct enough, and I don't know, I like it. Oh man, that person, that's impressive. Going over train tracks like that with a bike, it's not an easy feat, that's for sure. So solid core stability there. Man, this handles so well. And the V6, just, you got power all the time. There's always something happening. It's smooth too. And I've seen some people talk about the fuel economy. Real world, you can get pretty good fuel economy with this. But yeah, I mean, if you get a full-size pickup truck with a V8, you're not going to be getting that much worse, or if you're pretty much going to get the same, actually. That is one downside. Mid-size pickup trucks have never been like a good play when it comes to efficiency. That's the thing that's funny about them, is they're big enough and heavy enough that they, you know, they don't get the best fuel economy. So you know, it's kind of the price you pay for the mid-size. But I love this Nissan interior. It feels durable, it's practical, and you know, it seems like it's, I've reviewed some Frontiers with some miles on them, and it seems like this interior holds up pretty well. It's not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect interior, but it does seem like it holds up pretty well. And this is probably the worst time to review a car, but you know, take what you can get. Man, that NA V6, like, just boom response. It's addicting. And you know, a big part of it is because it's large displacement. Yeah, we're not doing the interstate. I ain't dealing with that. I don't want to sit in line. But yeah, part of it is the big displacement aspect. Because the previous gen Tacoma had a 3.5 that was horrible. When the Tacoma had the 4.0, it felt like a beast. The 3.5, you know, that's Weenie Hut Jr. territory. The Frontier drives well. The Frontier drives well. This feels like the previous gen Tacoma, but upgraded. That's what the Frontier feels like, because it's got a 9-speed, it's got a bigger engine, it's got more power. And that's kind of what Nissan did, is they benchmarked the previous gen Tacoma and said, we're gonna beat them. And they did. I think they did. Other than the fact that this doesn't have like, I mean, this does have as much capability as the previous gen TRD Pro, but they still don't have, like the Pro 4X is kind of their TRD Pro, but really it competes against the TRD Off-Road. That's one thing they could change with the Frontier, is release like a Frontier Warrior. But let's go pop in that Tacoma. A TRD Off-Road. Man, the Frontier didn't slide at all, but this also has so much torque. 465 pound-feet. That's no joke. That's no joke. And that's one of the benefits of a hybrid. You do have a ridiculous amount of torque. Yeah, it's got power. It doesn't have a top end of the Frontier though. The Frontier felt like it actually, you know, kept going. This, it kind of feels like it dies off a little bit. But that's 4-cylinder turbos, and you had a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid, and you're gonna have all this low end grunt and then no top end. That is just how it works. The handling is good though. See how it does it with the train tracks. The Frontier is nice and planted. Oh my, what is with this? I don't know what Nissan's done with that Frontier suspension. I know it's Bilstein shocks, it's a pretty simple system, but it just stays so planted, and it, like this kind of like shutter, and the Ford Ranger that I compared to the Frontier yesterday did the same thing. It kind of shuttered all over the place, and that has leaf springs. I don't know what Ford and Toyota are doing, but they're I think it's the chassis, the frame, something with it is just not very stable feeling. Again, very shutter can-esque. I don't know what other way to describe it as. Hybrid smooth though. Man, that Frontier felt so solid, and I think the acoustic, and I'm pretty sure this doesn't have, yeah, this doesn't have acoustic glass. I think the acoustic glass helps out a lot with the vehicle, with making it feel just like cozy and insulated, because it keeps the, you know, heat in, cool in, whatever you got going on. Moderates the temperature better. So I think that's a big plus. Oh no! We can't even make it to the frontage road now. Maybe I'll have to do a different, I've got a couple more videos I'm filming, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to drive next time, because this ain't going to work. But yeah, to cap off this comparison, it's tough. Well, not really, but also kind of, because like, don't get me wrong, I like some of the modern stuff that Toyota has. Like, I think their camera system resolution is really good. Their safety tech, how that works, is great. I like the electronic power steering, especially off-road, because off-road you get like no kickback, and it's quick and it's direct. But I don't know, it feels like Toyota tried so hard to modernize, because, you know, so many people have been critical of Toyota for so long, of being like too old and too this and too that. And so it's like Toyota has tried so hard with this new generation of cars to modernize that it's like they've lost themselves in the product, in a way, right? They've lost what they were all about. Like, Toyota used to be about simplicity and, you know, comfort. Like, I drive my 200 series Land Cruiser, and that thing just drives like a tank. And then I get into these new Toyotas, and I've got that LX I've been testing, and the LX actually drives pretty darn well. You'd hope so for the price it is. But I don't know, some of these other, like, lower down on the totem pole Toyotas, whatever you want to call them, just doesn't feel. So here's my advice: drive both of them, see which one you like the best, right? That's I always hope that these videos take you into the dealership to test drive them for yourself, rather than just buying a car after seeing a YouTube video, because like people do that nowadays, and I always think that's kind of a silly thing to do. Go and drive them, and put the Frontier on your short list. Like, if you're not at least looking at the Frontier, I think that's kind of silly, because it offers a ton of value, and it's not a perfect truck by any means, but it's very appealing. And I mean, when you're looking at 51,000 MSRP for a basic truck, like if you wanted the Tacoma equipped the same as that Frontier, you're looking at, if you get the non-hybrid, like 54 or 55. If you get the hybrid, you're like 57, 58. It's like a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So for that amount of money, you have to at least look at the Frontier and understand in the car industry, price does not equate quality anymore. It used to, and it still does to an extent with certain cars. But it's not directly tied like it used to be. It used to be if a car is more expensive, it was higher quality. That's not the cars in 2025.